Hello and welcome to my channel on today, Valentine's Day. And because it is Valentine's Day, I wanted to take a look into one particular Valentine's Day in 1840, when the Bronte sisters shared a rare moment of fun and laughter. Was love in the air, or was it something else entirely? Did the Bronte sisters celebrate this day of affection, or was it just another day in their complex lives? Join me as we uncover the truth behind this unique day in their life, when Charlotte, Emily and Anne shared a light-hearted moment that revealed a more playful side to them, long before their novels were published and before grief struck their home again. From Valentine's cards to their friendship and quiet moments of affection, we'll explore what this day meant for the Bronte family and what we can learn from this unique approach to love and relationships. Whether you're a Bronte enthusiast or simply curious about their world, then this video is going to tick your box. So let's find out together. Was it all about love or something a little bit more unexpected? On the morning of February the 14th, 1840, an unexpected excitement swept through the parsonage. Charlotte, Emily and Anne and their close friend Ellen Nussey, who was staying with them at the time, each received a Valentine's card in the post. Aww. None of them had ever received one before, making the surprise all the more thrilling. The sender was none other than young and charismatic curate William Weightman. William had gone to such great lengths to ensure the gesture remained a secret. In his effort to cover his tracks, he walked 10 miles, presumably to Bradford, to post the cards, ensuring they arrived discreetly. His efforts reflect the thoughtfulness and playfulness that made him so well liked, and it was a small but meaningful act of kindness and charismatic of a man known for his charm and his sociability. Each of the Valentines contained verses penned by William himself, though only the titles of these are known. We've got Fair Ellen, Away Fond Love and Soul Divine. They suggest a tone of sort of light-hearted admiration rather than a deep romantic intent. The sisters and Ellen had no trouble recognising Weightman's hand in the poetry. Amused and touched by his gesture, they decided to respond in kind. Together they composed a playful reply in verse, acknowledging his clever trick while ensuring their response remained safely teasing rather than sentimental. Their return poem adopted a light-hearted banter sort of tone, reflecting both their amusement and, of course, their appreciation. They thanked him for the fun, assured him of their good wishes, and ended with a warm sentiment. Wherever you go, however far, in future years you stray, there shall not want our earnest prayers to speed you on your way. By framing their response as friendly rather than flirtatious, the sisters and Ellen maintained this propriety expected of them, while also showing their fondness for Weightman. The event was a rare moment of light-heartedness in their often serious lives, and reveals much about the social dynamics at the parsonage during this time. Gosh, I barely got started and I need a cup of tea. That's how bad things are. I'm really thirsty today. But today's mug is the classic Penguin book cover of Jane Eyre. There we go. A very nice one. It's been through the dishwasher a few times. Sorry. So it's starting to sort of lose its colour a little bit. I know you shouldn't dishwasher things like this, but I'm lazy. I don't like washing up. What am I waffling on about? Despite that popular belief that Anne Bronte harboured feelings for Weightman, which she might have done, there is also considerable evidence to suggest it was Charlotte who was most affected by his charm. At the time, Charlotte was 24, Emily 22, Anne 20 and Ellen 23, while William was 26, all around that age. He possessed a combination of good looks, humour and intelligence that would have strongly appealed to Charlotte, and to most of us, to be honest. She had previously rejected a marriage proposal from Henry Nussey, which is Ellen's brother, stating that she could not sit all day making a grave face before her husband and needed someone she could laugh with. Therefore, I think she thought William was perfect. In Weightman, she found someone who could amuse and engage her. Charlotte's attentions towards Weightman were far more subtle. It was she, not Anne, who decided to paint his portrait, an act that suggested a deeper admiration. The sitting for this portrait became a source of entertainment at the parsonage, with Weightman playfully critiquing the materials used. Though his painting has not survived, a pencil sketch by Charlotte does exist, and it depicts a good-looking young man with long sideburns and neatly swept-forward hair in the fashion of the day, and an academic gown seated beside a stack of religious books. Later, Charlotte will go on to paint another portrait, this time of a woman named Agnes Walton, a lady in Appleby with whom Weightman implied he was in love with. This, combined with the way Charlotte filled her letters with details of Weightman's stayings and doings and whatnot, suggested she was far more affected by his presence than she cared to admit. Weightman's charm did not go unnoticed by those around him. He had a reputation for teasing women with an unusual degree of familiarity and kindness, which made him immensely popular and also invited speculation. Ellen Nussey in particular seemed to enjoy teasing poor Charlotte about him, dropping hints about her feelings and even speaking about him to their mutual friend Mary and her sister Martha Taylor. Charlotte, who disliked being the subject of gossip, responded in kind, playfully questioning Ellen about her own interactions with Weightman, and even given her the nickname Mrs. Menelaus, a reference to Helen of Troy. Emily, on the other hand, was nicknamed the Major for her supposed role in defending Ellen from Weightman's attention. Whether this was meant as a joke or had some truth in it remains uncertain, but it does highlight how much of a talking point Weightman had become amongst their circle. Charlotte's letters from this period reveal how much she admired Weightman, though she often masked her feelings and humour. She even gave him the nickname Miss Celia Amelia, a rather peculiar choice that seems to have been a way of neutralising the potential romantic threat he posed. By teasing him as though he were one of the girls, Charlotte could allow herself to enjoy his company without acknowledging the real danger of developing serious feelings. In a letter to Ellen Nussey on the 17th of March 1840, Charlotte joked about the Valentines card Weightman had sent and made reference to her nickname for him. She said, "Walk up to Gomersall and tell her forthwith every individual occurrence you can recollect, including Valentines, fair Ellen, away fond love and soul divine, and all. Likewise, if you please, the painting of Miss Celia Amelia Weightman's portrait, and that young lady's frequented and agreeable visits." This playful tone suggests that Charlotte was amused and flattered by Weightman's attention. Despite her evident admiration for him, Charlotte maintained that she had no hopes of expectations when it came to marriage. In later years, she advised Ellen not to be persuaded into marriage with someone she did not respect, stating that intense passion was rarely returned and often faded quickly. Her words suggested a deep awareness of the risk of unrequited love, and perhaps shaped by her own unspoken feelings for Weightman. Charlotte Brontë keenly observed William Weightman's interaction with her sister, and in a letter to Ellen Nussey dated the 20th of January 1842, she wrote, "He sits opposite Anne at church, sighing softly and looking out of the corner of his eyes to win her attention. And Anne is so quiet, her looks so downcast. Oh, they are a picture." While this observation refers to Anne, it also reveals how closely Charlotte was watching Weightman, perhaps with a mixture of amusement, admiration and unspoken longing. Though Weightman never openly pursued any of the Brontë sisters, his presence at the parsonage left an undeniable impression. Whether Charlotte's feelings for him were romantic or simply a form of admiration, he was one of the few men in her life who engaged with her in a way that was both affectionate and light-hearted. The letters she left behind gives us a glimpse into a brief but significant chapter in her early adulthood, one filled with laughter, teasing and perhaps a touch of wistfulness. By the time William Weightman sent his Valentine's card to the Bronte sisters in 1840, the tradition of exchanging love tokens on the 14th of February was already well established, but it was not yet the commercialised industry it would later become. The practice of sending messages of affection on St. Valentine's Day dates back centuries, with the earliest known written Valentines attributed to Charles, Duke of Orleans in 1415. However, it was during the late 18th and early 19th century that the exchange of printed and handmade cards began to grow in popularity. At the start of the 19th century, Valentine's cards were typically handmade and highly decorative. Lovers or admirers would craft their own designs, often using lace, paper cutouts and hand-painted illustrations. Many featured poetic verses or sentimental messages reflecting the romantic ideals of the time. The Victorians placed great importance on symbolism, so motifs such as hearts and doves, forget-me-nots and of course the Cupid frequently appeared on these early Valentines. Some cards were more elaborate, featuring tiny little doors or windows that opened to reveal the hidden message, or even locks of hair as a token of devotion. By the 1830s and 1840s, advances in printing technology, particularly the introduction of lithograph and embossing, made it easier to produce attractive, mass-printed Valentine's cards. This shift allowed more people to participate in this tradition, though handmade cards remained fashionable amongst the upper and middle class. It was still common to add personal touches such as a handwritten poem or pressed flowers to make the gesture feel that little bit more heartfelt. During this period, Valentine's cards were often sold in stationery shops and bookshops, as well as by printers who specialised in ornamental paper goods. Some of the most extravagant cards could be purchased in London from firms such as Dobbs & Co. and Joseph Addenbrooke, both of whom were known for producing intricate and decorative Valentine stationery. In smaller towns and villages, including places like Haworth, simple cards were still hard to come by, but they would have been available in grocery shops or made at home. Given that William Weightman walked 10 miles to post his card in secret, it's possible that he also travelled to a larger town such as Bradford to actually buy the cards. The cost of a Valentine's card in 1840 varied depending on its design and its level of detail. A very simple printed card with a few decorative flourishes might have cost as little as a penny, while a more ornate hand-embellished version could be up to several shillings. I mean, that's quite a sum for the average working person. Most expensive cards were adorned with lace, satin and elaborate die-cut designs, sometimes even scented with perfume or decorated with small mirrors, which was meant to symbolise the recipients reflecting the sender's love. Despite the growing popularity of Valentine's cards, they were not yet as universally exchanged as they would become later in the Victorian period. The tradition was largely observed by those in middle and upper class who had the means to purchase or create cards. Among the working class, Valentine's Day was still more commonly celebrated with a verbal expression of affection or a little handmade gift. However, as literacy rates improved and postage costs dropped, with the introduction of the penny post in 1840, sending written Valentine's card became increasingly common. I mean, it's fascinating to consider that the Bronte sisters, who lived relatively secluded lives in Haworth, were part of this growing trend. The fact that William Weightman went to such lengths to send them Valentines suggests that while the tradition was still evolving, it was already recognised as an enjoyable and meaningful gesture. Whether meant as a romantic advance or simply a playful kindness, his card provided a charming insight into the social customs of the time. This Valentine's Day, Charlotte's letters offer us a rare glimpse into the Bronte sisters' world, a time of playful moments and happiness with their dear friend Ellen. It's a snapshot of their lives before fame and tragedy struck, when all the sisters were still home together, sharing these simple but joyful moments. William Weightman brought a rare sense of fun and light-heartedness to the Bronte sisters' lives, and while his gesture was likely intended as a sort of playful kindness, it clearly left a lasting impression, particularly on Charlotte. Whether she fully acknowledged her feelings or not, her letters and actions suggest she found him deeply captivating. Though Weightman would later pass away in 1842, his presence at the parsonage left a mark on all those who knew him. The Valentines incident, along with Charlotte's lingering reference to him in her letters, adds a fascinating layer to the Bronte story, one that blends friendship, admiration, and perhaps unspoken longing. So, what do you think? Do you believe Charlotte Bronte had deeper feelings for William Weightman more than she let on? Could Valentine's Day have played a role in revealing emotions she tried to hide? Let me know your thoughts in the below, and of course your theories and thoughts as well. We would all love to hear them because we all read each other's comments. So yeah, pop them in the comments. Where are we? The sender was none other than the young and charismatic, I can't say it, Charlotte's attentions to a Weightman. Even if she sought to downplay its frequency. Charlotte Bronte keenly hope you're picking this up. Hopefully there's something amongst all that waffle that I can cut and use, because I can't remember what I've said now. I hope this look into the Bronte's Valentine's Day has given you sort of a fresh perspective on their lives, filled with a playful moment and a sense of togetherness. I mean, it's always fascinating to uncover these lesser known aspects of their world. And I think when I researched this, it was so nice to read about a positive, happy time for them all. You know, there's so much sadness in the Bronte family history that this was just lovely. You could imagine the excitement when the post turned up. They're all sat around the dining room table, opening them, reading them. And it just warmed my heart, and I really felt like we needed to talk about this. So, thank you for watching. You know what I'm going to say, because I say it every week. And even my daughter knows what I'm going to say, because I heard her listening to my video the other day, and even she joined in at the end. I mean, how sad is that? But yes, please do the whole likey, subscribey thing, because it really does help me out. But it actually does help me out. YouTube really looks at all the likes, all the subscriptions, all the comments, and that then helps them judge whether or not I should be shown to other people in their newsfeed. So the more that you like it, the more other people might like it. So thank you. It really, really does help me out. So thank you for watching, and I will see you all next Friday for more Bronte adventures. Okay, take care. Have a great weekend. Bye.